ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. What's up, sir?
Man, I am tired. After successfully cashing it in on my wife from last week.
Oh,
damn right. She knows how to make it feel good. She makes it a very memorable cash-in for me, if you know what I mean.
Obviously you're talking about Money in the Bank, which just happened.
Yes.
Money in the Bank 2017.
It's so funny. It was
Lord knows
actually
you're not talking about anything else.
I was actually at Kmart the other day, and I saw like a foam Money in the Bank briefcase for like $15.
They have those now?
Yeah. I actually kind of want to buy one.
Dude, I'm 30 and I want to buy one yesterday. I'm going to Kmart.
I actually would want to look up on WWE Shop and see if they have like an official like Money in the Bank briefcase. Because it was the golden one, like the one Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose had. So you can tell how and it came with like a kid size Seth Rollins shirt. So I'm just thinking, do I want to get this just for the sake of having a Money in the Bank foam briefcase?
Yes, you do.
I'm actually leaving that option open because I actually may go back to Kmart and grab it. First, after I go to the WWE Shop and see if they sell like briefcase replicas and all
I want to say maybe they do, and we'll get to the bottom of this by the end of the show, hopefully very soon. But first, we need to kick this show off right. We need to kick this show off with a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed. Let us go ahead and peek behind the curtain, and check in on a little
backstage news.
Brian's not here.
Man. Yes, Brian is on assignment, taking care of the aliens as per his duty.
I'm pulling a U right now. I'm tired. I actually did almost say peek behind the counter. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
So in other words, we're all going to be in rare form this evening. All right, so let's kick things off with some news that just broke just earlier today. This is on Thursday. And it turns out Mauro Ranallo is going back to the commentary booth on NXT.
I am very happy to hear this. From what I've read with what he posted, saying that it's not like the stories that's been leaked on the internet is not exactly true, and that just him and WWE have quote creative differences. And he was originally going to leave, but then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to come back and let's just go with NXT. And I actually think that fits him perfectly.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely being the audience, at least for the time being, that can really appreciate him and his talents.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That is exactly right. And if anything, this is kind of like with NXT being the developmental for the wrestlers, this could be a developmental thing for him to really get back on his A game and may yet go back to the main roster.
I'm thinking he might. Maybe on Raw. Who knows? Just as
or
long
if anything,
as he doesn't have to work with JBL again.
Oh, of course. To hell with JBL. I don't care I don't care. If anything, if it's true or not, to hell with JBL right now.
Yeah, but either way, for the time being, it's just really nice to have Mauro Ranallo back. One of the best of the modern era. Mauro, it's glad you're back. In the meantime, on a little bit of a lighter note, I'm not sure if you heard this, but apparently Bullet Club shirts are starting to be sold at Hot Topic.
I've seen posts, picture posts of Hot Topic just pulling the Bullet Club T-shirts out of boxes that just got delivered. That is very awesome to see and awesome.
But have you been able to find any? Have you seen any in the wild?
I have not. I haven't gone to the mall in a good while. I haven't been to any Hot Topics in a while because, busy life.
I know. Yesterday was the first time in about a couple years I've actually been into a Hot Topic.
Really? Years?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been a while.
I always go there every time I go to the mall.
From what I've been hearing, some of them are kind of rare, and some of them are actually rarer than others to find. A lot of people, because it's not just the basic Bullet Club shirts that they're carrying, it's all the individual. I'm not sure if you've seen these, But
it's
each of the
various
individual
have their own like
major players in the Bullet Club are getting their own shirts, like the
Yeah.
Young Bucks, Cody,
yeah.
Kenny
I've
Omega,
seen
of
the
course.
pictures. Yeah, they're actually very neat. They're very neat shirts. I
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah, personally, I'm still looking for a core Bullet Club shirt without getting overcharged on like ridiculous shipping charges.
Like
or whatever.
classic Bullet Club.
Like
no.
the classic Bone Soldier Bullet Club shirt. Either that, or if I can't find that, I would love a Kenny Omega shirt.
There you go.
Yeah, because that one's cool too. The other ones, they're all right. The Cody one and the Young Bucks ones are okay, but honestly, I don't really like Cody and the Young Bucks that much. If I'm gonna buy a wrestling shirt, I'm sorry, I'm at the point where if I'm gonna buy a wrestling shirt, it has to be for someone I really like. And you know what? I like the Bullet Club in general, and I like Kenny Omega. So
Either or.
there you go. When you carry a Hot Topic, you'll get my money. So there, blah.
Really? Bleh.
Yes, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's pretty much Hot Topic in my eyes now. They got one or two nice things, and there's otherwise blah.
Yeah, I don't. It's like I said, I rarely go to the mall, but I do manage to go to Kmart, of all places. Why Kmart? I honestly don't know.
Because Hot Topic doesn't have Money in the Bank briefcases. That's why.
I just came across the briefcase. I wasn't even going to Kmart for the briefcase. I was just like, I haven't been to this the one in Westwood. I haven't been to this Kmart in over 10 years.
It's my headcanon now. You can't stop me.
It's like, you know what? Why not? I haven't been here in so long. Let's see how crappy this store is. It is. You can definitely tell it is not aging well.
Yeah, I actually have been in the Kmart recently. They've seen better days.
I think they're on the verge of saying bye-bye.
Yeah, a lot of their locations already closed. But again, that's another topic for another day. In the meantime, before we get to Money in the Bank, let's talk about Monday Night Raw for a minute. Because there were a couple really interesting things to pay attention to.
Specifically, just a couple. I mean, I'm very happy that Goldust and R-Truth are finally are confronting each other in the ring. That's actually pretty much it. Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins are intriguing, but nothing spectacular. Because I feel like they're just thrown together, which, who are we kidding? They actually are just thrown together. Because neither guy has anything to do. We all know what the result's going to be, sadly. I just like that Bray Wyatt faced all three members of the Shield in singles feuds. Mm-hmm. Thinking back on he even faced them as the Shield, Wyatt family versus Shield in their classic matches. Yeah, there's just no real intrigue in this feud. I love both guys. Oh, you're looking up the...
Yes. To answer your question, yes, they have a couple different types of Money in the Bank cases. There's a big deluxe replica one that's like $200.
Of course it is. It's
there's
the equivalent of a title.
Yeah, there's another one that looks like that's an actual briefcase that's designed to look like a Money in the Bank thing. So it's like a fully functioning briefcase, and it's like $80.
And then probably the toy one.
Yeah, there's actually it's a lunchbox. Never mind.
That's a lunchbox?
Yeah, it's the
$80 one.
Oh no, that's an actual briefcase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the lunchbox one is only about $20. But then again, it's also a literal lunchbox. It doesn't have the same impact as cashing in a briefcase.
I guess you can count this as a scholar's quick talk. If you would use it as, like, let's say you want to get signatures for all people who got Money in the Bank briefcases, would you get like an official one, or that's the toy one that's at Kmart to use as the one? I'm going to say
neither. I'm just going to go with the $80 one because honestly, without looking at it closer, I don't really see what the big difference is. Probably just another WWE cash grab.
Most likely. All right.
Anyway, back to Raw.
Back to what we were saying. Let's talk about the former Money in the Bank contract winner, and hopefully future one with Bray Wyatt. Hopefully. Yeah, it's not a very intriguing feud. Although I love both guys, that's the only reason why I have intrigue. Even though the outcome is most likely going to be the same. Yeah, there's nothing really much else to say about that, though. So let's talk about two big things that came out of Raw.
There's only two things that really intrigued me. Like, as soon as I saw these things happen, I was sort of kicked out of my usual Monday night apathy. Proceed.
Oh, which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, why don't we go in order? The one that really kicked me out of my apathy was this. Okay, all of a sudden I was just like, okay, Roman Reigns, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden I hear the sirens, and then all of a sudden I hear Braun. I'm like, he's back.
Braun! Oh my god, I
was
fanboyed.
so happy.
I fanboyed when he came out of the ambulance. Oh, of course. Here's the thing. Let's save Braun for a little end. Let's talk about the beginning with Roman Reigns and his promo.
Oh, I got nothing to say for this. I honestly missed this.
Well, he was just basically saying how his SummerSlam announcement is no matter who wins the Universal title match, he's facing him at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I don't...
Yippee doodah.
I was sort of going back and forth. I totally missed this, and my attention only snapped back when Braun returned.
What I liked about this promo, which I hope they actually... I don't know if they're just doing it because they knew Braun was going to get such a big pop when he returned. Roman Reigns came out to basically a big... his promo was very heel. It was a very heel promo. Just basically talking about how awesome he is. How he's beaten everybody. From Bray Wyatt to how he puts it, his little brother Seth Rollins, to the favorite Finn Balor, and that he main evented his third WrestleMania in a row. I was like, this is the most smug I've actually heard from him, and it fits. It fits. It fits him.
Works for him.
It really does, and I hate that there's like, oh, I still got respect. I'm like, no, stop with the respecting. Keep with the smug attitude. And then, of course, I posted on Monday. Roman seems to forget that every person he said he's beat, they've beat him first, mm-hmm. Or they've beaten him too. Bray Wyatt has beaten him at Battleground a couple years ago. Seth Rollins has beat him to win the WWE Championship at last year's Money in the Bank, and Finn Balor beat Roman Reigns on his first Raw match. So yes, you may have beaten them all, but hey, respect them, man. They've beaten you too. And that's what I like about it, is that it's a very smug heel. And of course, and he talks about Brock Lesnar, and he talks down on Samoa Joe. It's like, oh yeah, this guy named Joe. It's like, wow, this is what I want to see in Roman Reigns, is a completely asshole bad guy. I still will forever hate him because I hate everyone who retires the Undertaker.
But the hate will be justified, and I'll feel better.
Yes. Partially, at least with me.
Yeah. It's a step in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction, and I love that Samoa Joe came out. I was like, dude, you've never lost to me yet. And then they had their match, which it was a good match. They work well together. The one real complaint I had is the fact that, I guess it's both I love and I hate. I love that Braun Strowman came back. I just wish it actually happened after the match. Mm-hmm. I just wish there wasn't something to distract Roman Reigns to have Samoa Joe get the win. Because the whole point with Samoa Joe is he's supposed to be a legit contender for Brock Lesnar, yet he can't beat Roman Reigns.
Well, he did beat Roman Reigns.
Well, he did, yeah, with a distraction of Braun Strowman returning.
But to me, there's still, again, I'll save my full comments for any prediction shows when this actually goes down. But really, with the way he's been presented so far, Joe is not, if he's supposed to be the heel, he is not a coward. He has not been backing down from any fights. He is a solid badass, and especially recently, he has always been shown to be a legitimate physical threat to everyone he faces.
But the fact, I 100% agree with you. That's what I'm loving about that. I just wish that they actually didn't have to have a distraction for Roman Reigns for Joe to beat him, because it just looks bad on Joe. That fact that, I mean, they did it. They had it around when Joe first arrived in WWE when he beat him clean. If Roman Reigns would have lost clean in this match, it would not have hurt him. They only did it to protect him, and which is something they really didn't need to do.
Well, I don't really see it as even protecting Roman Reigns at this point. I really see it, let's face it, the focus was far more on the return of Braun Strowman.
And that was me completely fanboying. I was losing my mind.
Again, the focus is not, nor is it currently on Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. If they want to do that later, then they can do that later. In that context, an inconclusive finish is just fine at this moment, because they're still saving Samoa Joe for Brock Lesnar. And right now, he's got to contend with pretty much one of the most over guys on the roster in Braun Strowman.
No, he is. There's no pretty much. He is the most over guy. That pop when he came out of that ambulance was fantastic. And when he came out, he was getting so much cheers. And I swear to God, he was being a face. He was basically getting the crowd pumped. He was doing his traditional brrr, on the other side of the ropes, brrr, on the other side of the ropes, basically pumping the crowd up. I'm like, is Braun Strowman a face? Because this is what he's pulling, a face maneuver, trying to get cheers from the crowd.
And that's why I'm at this point right now where so much stuff is going right that even if something happens with all these players that I do not like, the good definitely far outweighs the bad.
I'm so happy Braun's back.
So am I.
Roses are red, violets are blue. # I'm back. I'm not finished with you.
That was beautiful.
I'm just serious.
We love you, Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman is the man. I hate that I haven't gotten his shirt yet.
I actually forgot he's got his shirt.
I am a total fanboy. I want more Braun. Like inside the ring, outside the ring, backstage, outside WWE. He is just the coolest guy ever.
Screw the Bullet Club. We gotta go see if they start carrying Braun Strowman shirts at Hot Topic.
Seriously, he's one of the next people I want to meet.
Hey, it's gonna happen sooner or later.
He is just so awesome.
Anyway, there's far more to talk about than just Braun Strowman, including if we want to talk about the somewhat sad moment from this week in Raw history. Of course, I'm talking about the actual breakup.
The premature breakup, in my opinion.
Yes, of Enzo and Big Cass.
I hated this.
Where actual legit tears were shed.
I hated this. I loved his promo because it was sincere and it was truthful. It is way too soon to break these guys up.
I agree.
I hated the mystery because it was clear as day. I even posted on Twitter that I loved the Rikishi reveal a lot more than this.
Yeah, this was more Kevin Nash texting himself tier.
It was so bad. Oh my God, it was so. Everybody looked bad in this whole scene. Everybody. And it's so funny because I even compared it to the Rikishi reveal.
How could you not?
Of the one who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. What year was it? Back in 2001?
Something like that. I can't remember the exact date.
I think it was early 2000s. What I loved about that mystery is you had no idea who could have done it. And it was a legit mystery. And what I loved about it is that there were every clue that was given were subtle hints. And when Mick Foley finally put all the pieces together, it made Mick Foley look like a great, basically Sherlock Holmes detective level of awesomeness. With the Big Cass, it just made Kurt Angle out to look like an it. He said, I'll be the one to figure this out, yet he didn't. He had absolutely nothing. Other than simply asking, Big Show, did you do it? No. Revival, did you do it? No. That was it. That was all Kurt Angle did. And they had to have Corey Graves be the one to have the reveal, which he so magically manages to have a security tape of Big Cass, quote setting himself up to look like to be that he was attacked. My God, it was so corny. It was so badly done. That's
just bad writing from the WWE. That's
no,
not even for the course.
It was just something like, God, can this look? I know it's a show. I know it's entertainment, but God, could they at least try to make this look convincing? But I'm like, what is Corey Graves bringing back GTV here? Graves TV now? Jesus Christ. And of course, I've actually read that people had they kind of did a little subtle nudge, like jab at CM Punk about Big Cass saying that the lump on the back of his head after being hit was the size of a baseball.
I didn't even catch that. Plus, I was sort of checked out. Like, honestly, when I was watching this whole segment, I was just like, oh, I guess they're doing this.
And I'm just like...
I was burnt out at the end of the show, honestly.
And so I'm back to it. There was no mystery. It was clear as day what they were doing because it's been clear, so clear from backstage reports to Dave Meltzer reports to basically how Big Cass has been booked when he does singles competition. Vince McMahon has a huge hard-on for Big Cass singles-wise. Excuse me. It was just so clear that they were breaking up this tag team, and it just made me wonder, why? Why do you have to break them up? They are one of the biggest attractions WWE has right now, and they have so much potential. They have so much potential to go places for a long time. Maybe another year you could break them up. But this was way too early. As of right now, both Cass and Enzo need each other. Because even though Big Cass had his best promo ever with this scene, I loved his promo. And I loved Enzo's reaction to it. Because you even said there were tears shed. Enzo was shedding tears in this segment. And I'm like, that is a true emotion here. Because you can definitely see the heartbreak of Enzo's face when he's shedding the sexy tear, as some called it, because it was just no snot or anything. It was just a single tear running down his face.
All I saw were Simpsons memes. You can if you run it back, you can find the exact moment when his heart rips in half. And there.
Yeah, right. I saw those too. But like, I loved the whole scene. I loved the emotion that got out of it. It's just the fact of this isn't natural to me. None of it seemed like it was a natural, like, here, I saw like a reaction to this saying all this segment needed was a barbershop window just to make this scene end. I'm like, are you implying that Big Cass is Shawn Michaels in this? Like, you put him in the same level as when Shawn Michaels kicked Marty Jannetty in the face?
I don't really put it in the same way, just in terms of just like definitely neither of these guys are going to be the next Shawn Michaels. I don't think that's what's being implied. What's being implied
that's
is
what
just
this person was implying.
That's not what I get from that.
Oh, neither do I.
What I do get from that is just like the exclamation points to like what during the barbershop window segment. That was like the big moment that really just sort of like drove it home. Like, okay, these guys are done. It was just a big boot, and it was like, eh.
What I hated,
maybe it was just raw lethargy, but I just didn't care as much.
They just, that this wasn't just a natural thing. That their time has come as they've done all they can as a tag team, because it wasn't. It really wasn't. They were, like I said, they are the hottest thing going on WWE right now. Not WWE in general. And this whole thing, you can tell, is just because Vince McMahon loves Big Cass and wants to put him in a singles run, and he just hates Enzo so much because he's his ragdoll toy that he likes everyone to kick his ass.
Yeah, until we see like where this is going and if there's actual thing in mind for Cass, or if they actually do something with it, I've honestly got nothing else to say about this.
Just makes me ask, what can they do with it?
honestly, I'm a big believer in you can make a decent storyline out of just about anything. Will the WWE machine actually produce something? For me, maybe they can.
For me, this is the equivalent of Titus O'Neil and Darren Young breaking up. Well, but I think it's worse because one thing we've had, like, the Primetime Players had a run with Tag Team Gold. They were a very successful tag team. Enzo and Cass, in my opinion, yes, they have the merch, they have the talk, they have the look. They are a fun tag team. Everyone loves them, but they weren't a successful tag team. Not in my opinion.
They are a successful tag team. They just didn't get the straps. Which, you know what? I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now because I really don't have much else to say about this right now. But I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I predict that Enzo is going to team with the Big Show and win the straps, and then that's how he's going to actually end up winning the straps. And I'll be like, yeah, I won the straps without you, so, how's your mother? Something like that. I don't know.
There's nowhere I could see Big Cass going other than just basically squashing Enzo in a singles match. After that, there's nowhere for him to go except just somewhere in the lower card. He's not going to be in the Intercontinental title feud because we have The Miz and his new entourage of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas and versing Dean Ambrose, which, even though we're all kind of tired of that feud, at least they're doing something new with it. And now you have 5 other guys in line for the Universal title. There is nowhere for Big Cass to go. This turn, it was inevitable because, of course, Vince loves Big Cass. It was just done way, way, way too early.
Yeah, this is just one of those things that just sort of drives me to apathy. So until something happens, I don't have much else to say about this.
And with you saying that they were a successful tag team, I just can't say it. They get great crowd reactions. But when you look at their history and their win-loss record, it's not a very good win-loss record.
There's other ways to establish credibility and success outside of that. Again, when feuds start actually forming out of this, I will elaborate more on what I mean by that, and I'll be able to illustrate that more. But again, for right now, we're just going to have to wait and see.
But that was a major factor. I hated it. I like the promo. I just hate that it had to lead to that because it just wasn't natural for me.
Yeah,
there's
only so much you can say about that. It's WWE writing. Most of it is going to be crap. Let's be real.
It's just I love Big Cass. Screw Enzo. Big Cass is the future.
Give it a month.
Yeah.
Whatever. Meantime, we have way more to talk about, especially just coming out of Money in the Bank outside of Raw. So let's get right into it. Money in the Bank, kicking things off with the pre-show. The Hype Bros defeated the Colons.
I didn't watch this.
I didn't either. All I know is that, the Hype Bros are back. And then, the Colons are still here. I know it's not pronounced. I know it's pronounced Colognes. It's funny to say colon.
The more I look at the Colognes and think of these guys could actually be something, or 2 heel tag team in the SmackDown tag team division,
which says a lot to me.
Which I actually do like the tag team division. They just need more to do. They just need more meat on that bone.
They need more meat than the Colons.
For the Colognes, why haven't they brought back Carlito as a manager? I can even see Carlito with the Colognes having a mic battle with the New Day. That's the kind of potential I could see in the Colognes if the Colognes are done right, and they can really be done right if they had a mouthpiece. And what better mouthpiece than their cousin, Carlito Caribbean Cool?
So in other words, what you're telling me is that their current booking is not cool.
Not at all. I wish I had an apple. So I'll just pretend.
Hey.
That's not cool.
Hey, I made a joke out of it. That's better than what we're getting right now.
And, of course, Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley.
Hi.
Hi.
But anyway, let's...
No hype for them.
Since we're going in order here, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Carmella winning Money in the Bank. I need to ask you this right out of the gate. How do you feel about this?
It's so funny. I don't declare her the winner. I don't think there was a winner. For me, there was no official winner for the women's Money in the Bank.
But when you saw it, how did it make you feel?
Cheated.
Any emotions?
Anger.
Angry?
You're angry? Of course.
Why angry?
Because it's not even from the James Ellsworth, the fact that they were even considering pushing Carmella into something that she's not. I don't see the intrigue of Carmella other than a pretty face. And most of her, granted, I will say her promo on SmackDown, it's similar to Big Cass on Raw. This was her best promo. Oh, wow. Big Cass and his girlfriend get their best promos this week.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, right. They had their best promos. Shit, what was I going to say?
They had their best promos this week coming out of their
big storyline. I love how split the crowd, the IWC is on this one. One think it's a great heel tactic. The other is just thinking they pretty much just, oh yeah, the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and a man wins it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still gonna go with, hell, when I was even doing the scoreboard, I haven't even finished it because for me, I don't consider there being a winner because there was never other than James Ellsworth saying that she won. There was no officially announced winner.
But ultimately, you're angry about this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now the reason I had to be the first to ask is I needed to gauge your reaction. I was gauging other people's reactions, and if Brian were here, I would gauge his reaction too. And the reason is that once I saw this and once I really started thinking about the result, I love this.
I don't.
I think it's excellent. I'll explain why. Because, well, for starters, I keep thinking back to how you used to talk about Carmella in the past. Just in the past few weeks. There was always a sense of where the crowd would just go silent whenever she and James Ellsworth would come out. There was really no heat. There was really no hype behind them. There was nothing. And I'm sure you just saw it, like you mentioned. What was everyone talking about come the next day, as far as Money in the Bank is concerned? Carmella winning the Money in the Bank via James Ellsworth. That's what everybody is talking about.
No, they're more James Ellsworth. It's more James Ellsworth winning the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That's more.
That also wasn't universal.
I've seen that everywhere.
I've seen it split. I've honestly seen it split with the kinds of responses I've been hearing, and even regardless of where the focus is, the heat is still there. The heat is still on the Carmella James Ellsworth dyad. There's still an emotional investment in this. If the people were further driven to apathy, like I just don't even care anymore, then that would say, you know what, this was a misstep. But the fact that it got heat on Carmella, it set up something to do with a very practical storyline, and there were so many different possibilities going out of that result that I honestly couldn't. The more I thought about it, the more I loved it. Like I hated it at first. I'll grant you that, but it was that kind of hate where like, oh, why is she winning that Money in the Bank that way? Why did that work? Why did that count? And then it was realized it was that kind of special kind of anger that I had to take a step back and realize, you know what? They got me. I got emotionally invested, and I'm hooked in. Now I would want to see someone take Carmella down. So now, almost like overnight, now suddenly Carmella has a spotlight on her. She's in the sights of every woman in the division.
She has 10 times better mic skills than Nikki Bella ever was. There, I said it. Nikki Bella should learn from Carmella.
And Nikki Bella is irrelevant. What's that?
I'm sorry, I had to say it. That was my immediate response. As soon as her promo ended, I'm just like, wow, that was better than anything that piece of trash ever said.
For someone who doesn't like Nikki Bella, you're sure thinking about her a lot.
Because she makes me angry. She's the one. Because I keep getting reminded of her from those stupid WWE shop commercials. I keep getting reminded. Oh yeah, she's one of the big factors of WWE. So
revisionist
I want to get her out of my head. I want her to be a thing of the past. But WWE keeps drilling it in my head that she's one of the big factors. She's the first thing that comes on the WWE shop commercial.
Just because they sell does not mean you need to buy.
Oh, I'm not. It's just I wish she can go away forever. She can go away forever.
Then embrace the reality that she is gone right now. And you know what? Speaking of embracing reality, another thing that's sort of really grinding my gears right now is that all of this, the way they set it up, would be absolutely fantastic. I was so hyped up, and then what do they do the next week? They strip her of the briefcase, and they're going to be set up to do a whole nother Money in the Bank. Now, I hope that they do something different. I hope that Carmella wins this again via maybe just not necessarily James Ellsworth getting the briefcase, but still Carmella grabs the briefcase via nefarious means by other sorts of interference by James Ellsworth.
He's been banned from ringside.
When did that ever stop anybody?
Well, you never know. They could just have her win it officially, which I think that's what they're going to do.
Which, I can do that. I'm up for that. Where even if Carmella gets it legitimately, she still has that same target on her back. She still has James Ellsworth being her little flunky. There's so many other things you can do with this, with everyone gunning after Miss Suddenly Relevant again.
Here's my response to what the whole thing you were saying. I understand I understand what you're saying. I understand what they're going for, and you are right. She is a big talking factor now. Her irrelevancy is pretty much gone. But I would actually be in that same camp with you if she cashed in on Money in the Bank, especially because it was posted by Daniel Bryan when he's returning on SmackDown that he's going to make an official decision when it comes to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match controversy. If you were Carmella and think maybe this may not be working, this may not work in the end. This may not work at the end for me. I would cash in right away.
And that's the beauty of what they're going to do next.
I think she should have cashed in. I would have actually been on your side if she cashed in. And it would have caused more controversy on SmackDown. The fact that she cashed in on something that she would have originally going to get stripped of. I actually think that actually would add more dynamic to that storyline. And it would have gotten me in the same position you're in.
I agree. However, there's still ways to do that, assuming Carmella actually does walk over the briefcase during the rematch. You can do things like, assuming she gets the briefcase, now she puts herself still in that marked state. Meanwhile, there's still a sort of a quasi-feud going on between Naomi and Lana. Now you're sort of wondering, okay, when is she going to spring the trap? Is she going to go after Lana? And if she wins it, assuming she wins it, how well is she going to win it? Is she going to do it at a time when it's just a standard title defense and she still appears very strong, or is it going to be after a really long, drawn-out thing? Does she, when does she, depending on who's in the feud with whom, when does she cash it in? Because right now it doesn't seem like she's obviously some sort of a coward. She's an opportunist.
She's an idiot.
She's an idiot, too.
You could just tell by her coming out, I'll cash it. No, I'm not. You could just tell. She's stupid. I don't know if they're intending to her to be an idiot, but she's an idiot.
She comes across to me as just a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, with what she had to say on SmackDown, it doesn't come to that because she made she made legit points of the whole rules. There was no rule saying James Ellsworth couldn't climb the ladder and just handed her the briefcase. Yeah, that's true, but that's showing that she actually thought this through and actually is smart about it. So it just...
Except none of that would ever fall into place, and everybody knows it. It may be the letter of the law, but it doesn't reflect the spirit of the original competition. That's what gets everyone heat on her.
I think she would have gotten so much more heat if she cashed in. And it would just cause so much more controversy, especially with adding the Naomi factor into this, because I guess I'll put in more detail of the Naomi Lana match.
Let's just touch on that right now since we're here.
Okay.
Naomi defeating Lana.
It wasn't a good match.
It's not the best, but still...
You can tell that this is Lana's first match.
Well, technically it wasn't, but she's still green, but not to a disappointing degree.
Okay, let me put it this way. This shows that she has been out of the ring for a long time, wrestler-wise. It may not have been her first...
She didn't even come on as a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
She was presentable. She carried herself well enough. I was fine with this.
It was a very sloppy match.
Not the best, but I was dreading far worse. Let's put it that way.
And when she was focusing on Naomi's one knee, I'm like, oh my god, they're going to use this to have Carmella cash in and just cause even more controversy behind the women's Money in the Bank, which would have gave me more intrigue. But the whole fact with Carmella not thinking this whole thing through, where my Money in the Bank contract could be on the line here. So when it comes right now to at least, I'm not I like what I guess it's a start for Carmella being a legit competitor. Although I think when it came to like the other women saying their arguments for why Daniel Bryan should take the Money in the Bank briefcase away, I actually think Becky Lynch had the best argument, and she had the most emotion going out of it.
Yeah, that was good.
I actually was like, I'm actually kind of building up on this one because I feel so bad for her, because when she was talking, she was having that emotional where when someone's emotional, they're kind of, when they talk, they're not really talking, I guess, straight. They're talking as if they're in like a very emotional weakness, I guess, like where they're open to having an emotional response, and it felt so real. So I felt so bad for Becky. It gave me something. It gave me.
You got invested.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word I was thinking for. It got me emotionally invested in Becky Lynch.
And that's what I'm talking about. When you have a payoff, I don't care what you do. I don't care how many cheats or how many times you bend the rules in your favor. As long as there's a big enough satisfying payoff, like eventually at the end of this feud, let's say Becky Lynch does get the title back. That's the redemption. That's everything coming full circle. That's the payoff.
I just wish
The question is, will this pay off, or is this just a backtrack because they're afraid of the backlash? That's good. I just don't know what this is yet. Like I was afraid of, okay, they're making a bold move. They're making Carmella cheat via James Ellsworth to get the case. Okay, it's bold, it's daring. They can do stuff with this. And then as soon as they reverse the decision the next week, I couldn't help but think, okay, are they just backtracking now and kowtowing to pressure, or are they actually doing something with this?
I guess I wouldn't be so mad at the result if it was Carmella being the one to take the briefcase off. Even if, like, some people even said, have James Ellsworth hoist her on his shoulders, like, helping her climb the ladder, to like, him knocking Becky Lynch off, him putting Carmella on his shoulders and helping her climb up the ladder to get it.
And you know what? If I were a betting man, I'd bet you that's what they're going to do next week. Because if they're afraid of anything, they'll probably be just the bad PR that, the first women's Money in the Bank and a man technically grabbed it first. I'm thinking they're just trying to retcon this, so you don't have to deal with the bad PR. Like,
well, they can
whatever.
try and retcon all they want. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the network. It'll be there. It'll be there to hunt them forever. And that is something that it's going to be bad publicity forever.
Yeah.
Because now with this, when you look at future women's Money in the Bank matches and they show the video packaging, they're going to show the second one. They won't even show the first one anymore.
Hey, again, there's so many different things and places they can go with this. Hey, only time will ultimately tell. I know we're gonna revisit this one in the future.
Hell, next week.
There you go. Anyway, moving on, we've got another exciting match. The New Day defeated the Usos by count out.
In another controversial ending. Although this one, actually, I didn't like the initial result, but I understood why they did it, just to keep the feud going.
I didn't like it.
I liked it better than Carmella.
I had just the opposite. I saw the possibilities in this.
It made complete sense to me. This one,
even then, it's not that it didn't make sense. It more just appeared like, okay, it just seemed like a paint by numbers thing. Like, this could have been on a Raw, in my eyes.
Or a SmackDown.
Because
it's a SmackDown brand, man.
Whatever.
Get it right.
Raw down, whatever. I don't care.
Raw down. Well, their match was awesome. This was one of the best matches on the card.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I wouldn't even say, I can't even agree with you that this could have been on a SmackDown. Because that's what you initially said. This match was really good for me. Both teams were on their A game when they did this match, and so many close calls. And the only thing that I had to say was the bad part, but it happens. It was when Big E almost dropped whichever Uso it was on his head.
It's true.
It was, what was it, Jimmy or Jay? It was just the Uso.
Yeah.
When the Uso almost...
Uso number one.
When Uso... I'm just going to say Uso fell on Big E, and Big E almost dropped him.
Mm.
That was a scary moment. Like, oh my God, he almost let him land on his head.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
But, every time Big E does that suicide spear, it still gets me every time.
Mm.
I feel like Big E's gonna land wrong and just kill himself every time he does that move. I was totally invested in this match. I didn't like the ending. I understood why they did it. I guess people were mad about it more because it was another controversial ending right after a big controversial ending.
And that's what I didn't like about it. I didn't like that there was another spotty, inconclusive finish. That was what it really hurt this match in my eyes. I was just, if you do something with it, it's okay. If you set it up to something even bigger, that's perfectly all right. But this, did not sit well with me at all. You can't do two after one right after another.
I agree on that, but I actually liked this ending a lot more than the first one because it's like, the Usos didn't need someone to have them lose. It was just them choosing. It's like, yeah, we're done with this match. We're still going to be champions. Boo. That is like great heels because it made them look cowardly, but they're also they are strong heels because they're the big tag team they're one of the biggest tag teams today for WWE. So I liked it. I know it's because this is their first match. They're going to keep this feud going. The only real upsetting thing about it was the fact that it's like, oh yeah, we really should have thought of this through when it came to the predictions. Mm-hmm. We were just thinking the New Day. We picked the Usos. We thought this was going to be a clean victory. It was like we really should have thought this one more. But yeah, I wasn't. I was angry, but not as angry. I'm pretty much you with the Carmella.
Swapped our reactions.
This is our swapped reactions.
I can see that. But yeah, moving on. we also had Jinder Mahal defeating Randy Orton.
This match, I'm gonna take it from you. This match could have been on SmackDown.
I can see that in the sense where it was very basic in its elements, but I still enjoyed this for what it was.
I just didn't like that it was pretty much the exact same ending from Backlash.
I'm sort of getting the impression that Jinder Mahal has yet to show his entire playbook, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That he's definitely got a whole bunch more to offer in terms of variety in his repertoire, but I think they're just sort of playing out and getting the bases down with Randy Orton, who's just sort of known as being a very good hand at this point in the game. But otherwise, it was
by the numbers.
It was basic, yeah.
It was by the numbers, and like this could have been on a SmackDown. I like Jinder Mahal, the character. I like what they're doing. I even like that they're stopping the evil foreigner. I think they're totally dropping that part. It's just now he's an Indian wrestler and he's a heel. That's it. I like the character. He hasn't really given me anything wrestler wise. Like you said, they haven't given him the opportunity to show his full playbook, but because of that, I'm just not sold on Jinder Mahal, the wrestler, yet. I'm 50-50 on him.
Yeah. Well, the guy, it's still also very early on in his main event run. So, again, he could show us a whole bunch of things. He could show us a greater amount of depth and variety.
His Luke Harper match, even adding to that, it didn't help. It's not helping me that much either. It's just, I really hope he does something spectacular before his title reign ends.
Hey,
and not character-wise, wrestling-wise.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more once we get more opponents in the mix. I really do think we'll see that. But anyway, before we get to the main event for the evening, we also had a surprise Breezango match where they confronted their assailants, the Ascension, and they beat the Ascension.
I saw so much potential in this from the stick figure drawing from the Go Home show. I knew it was the Ascension because I'm like, they're not going to turn American Alpha heel. There were only two tag teams on SmackDown that haven't been on SmackDown in a while: the Ascension and American Alpha. I even pointed that out last week. When you look at like, oh, who could these mystery assailants be with the greasy hair and the one arm or two arm description? Know. I'm sorry, I'm loving these. I love these fashion files.
Yeah, I love Breezango.
I love Breezango too.
I was really hoping that this was going to be a legitimate feud to set up.
Me too.
Like I was okay, the Ascension's back. Let's hopefully. Maybe they'll beat Breezango and this will set up a feud. And
I was hoping
this will be the resurgence of the Ascension, and no.
What I was hoping to come from this was kind of them revitalizing their characters. I was expecting them to come out in like suits.
I'm not sure I would go that far.
Just kind of not like full tie. I just make them look like hitmen. Like a hitman type of deal, where I actually wasn't. I was really hoping this was not a match. I was hoping that this would actually lead to just a confrontation to start the feud that could lead to their match. But they didn't do it.
I just got
it was a complete waste of time.
Then again, there is one other thing that can still happen that can totally redeem this feud
if they continue it.
Yes. Breezango defeats the Ascension. They're gone for good. But suddenly, the assaults keep happening. They're like, okay, we already took care of the Ascension. Who could this be? Eventually, they get on the case. Weeks pass. And then finally, they discover who's actually been behind this.
I'm not looking forward to you. At first, I was on my seat with where you were going, but I see you being a troll right now.
What do you mean?
You're gonna troll me. It's gonna be like an El Dandy level.
It's not El Dandy. Come
no,
on.
I'm not saying it's gonna be El Dandy. I'm saying this is an El Dandy level trolling you're gonna give me. I know. I figured you out, fool. I figured your story building up.
Okay, then who is it then?
Oh, I don't know who it's gonna be. It's gonna be someone completely ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous, because the tag team behind it is the Surfer Dudes with Attitudes. From Southpaw Regional Wrestling. It'll probably be the fresh start that Ascension needs.
They wouldn't put Southpaw in this.
Wouldn't they?
No,
wouldn't they?
As intriguing as that sounds, they've established that these video packages are supposed to take place in the 80s.
All I'm saying is, the New Day had a time machine. That's all I'm gonna say.
But it was a box for a refrigerator.
And the DeLorean used to be a car. What's your point?
But they didn't really travel through time.
Neither did Michael J. Fox. But it was fun.
No, entertainment-wise, Michael J. Fox did go back in time. Entertainment
and so
time.
did the New Day.
No, they didn't. All they did was just make it a black and white thing. They didn't really have any changes that officially. It's not like DX actually going under the ring to find Little People's Court.
I still consider that canon.
I'm just saying, they've established there's a little people world under the ring, but they didn't really establish that New Day actually did travel through time. I cannot believe we're actually having this discussion.
Why? This is wrestling. This is serious business.
This is ridiculous.
Anyway,
as interesting as that sound, I just wish they could have done something to actually make this a legit feud.
In all seriousness, I agree.
To help revitalize the Ascension to being a real threat. Because really, they're the number 2 heel tag team on SmackDown.
And you know what? I'm wondering if this could actually be a thing.
Or
it started out as a joke.
They're number 3.
It started out as a joke. I'll grant you that. But if this means revitalizing the Ascension, bringing Connor and Victor up, just refreshing them and getting them over again, I'm honestly wondering whether or not that's a legitimate possibility.
I don't feel like they're actually going to do that.
Obviously it's unlikely.
As soon as the Ascension came out and JBL was like, oh, these guys. I was like, oh no, you just did it again. You just completely shit all over your talent. You idiots. Are you kidding me? Stop making your talent irrelevant with how you talking down on them. It's not typical, like, let's say Jerry the King Lawler, Jim Ross type of like talking down, because even though they talk down on certain things, you have the other person counteracting the opposite on the person that the other person is talking down on. That wasn't the case on this one. Everyone talked down on the Ascension. I liked the Ascension. I want them to succeed. I actually saw promise in this feud, and now it's not going to happen. Yeah, wow, we really did talk. We really got in so much for just a Breezango and Ascension, but it's more. We're putting more thought into it than they're doing.
Pretty much. So again,
do we want to talk about Maria and Mike debut? Spreading their power of love.
I'm just glad to see them. It was a clever way to get beyond them keeping the Mike Bennett name. Granted, their audience is also way more familiar with Maria Kanellis, so it all makes sense. I thought that was clever. But outside of that, they haven't really done anything yet.
It was just, what was your initial response with what they're doing?
I already got spoiled. I already knew that's...
I knew they were there,
yeah,
but I didn't know that they were actually gonna...
Again, this is another one of those cases where I don't really know. I'm excited to see them. I know Mike Bennett is very solid. I know that Maria has progressed way further than I think anyone ever expected her to. So, color me interested. I still need to see more.
JBL hurt the whole segment with him. He's like, he took her last name. Okay, moving on.
That's just bad production, but whatever.
That's
we'll be here
JBL.
all day. But anyway, let's bring it home with the main event of the evening and your men's winner of the Money in the Bank, Baron Corbin. Again, I think it was safe to say that he was always a contender. But what do you think of this match as a whole?
I didn't like that Shinsuke got taken out in the beginning.
Neither did I. I thought he was going to be out for the entire thing like they did for Dismember with, what was it, Sabu?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the one guy who I wanted to see the most taken out for most of the match. At least it wasn't the entire match, but still.
Oh, he redeemed
that.
He redeemed him. Like, well, not really redeemed himself. He redeemed the match when he came back because he was like hyping up, and we got that awesome tease of Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles.
At least he looked like a badass in doing it. Which,
yes,
again,
he did.
That's, again, as much as I really want to see Shinsuke, that's the way you do it right. There's some payoff. There's some hype. You did something with it.
I just didn't like... It was like the show was losing the crowd. The crowd was really losing interest in this, and
people were tired.
Well, yeah, and they really were losing interest with what they were given. People were starting to lose interest on the card, and they were tired, so they're just like, can this show end already? Or can we just get the Money in the Bank ladder match, please? And they were actually getting excited. Excuse me. They were actually really pumped because Shinsuke's music started to go, and everyone loves Shinsuke's entrance. Except this past SmackDown show. I'm gonna do my one F-bomb show. Fuck that crowd. Cause they weren't into Shinsuke's entrance. You barely heard people singing. I know some crowds are gonna do that, but I'm gonna say it to every time a crowd doesn't do it. But yeah, that was my one time. That was my one F-bomb. I'm pretty much pulling a Mick Foley with one F-bomb a show. Bang bang. I didn't like it. It was the equivalent of Roman Reigns getting taken out of the Royal Rumble so he can get a break, even though Shinsuke shouldn't need a break. He was just he was just coming out to start the match. What the hell?
Because it wasn't about physicality, it was about the pacing and just getting heat.
Yeah,
in that case,
it's something they didn't need.
But I didn't.
It wasn't necessary.
I didn't like it to see it, but again, I liked the payoff. But
oh yeah, when he came back and got that huge pop, that was exactly something this match needed.
And they did tease AJ and Nakamura,
which was awesome. And then Baron Corbin won.
Yeah,
there really is.
Which I think, yeah, we kind of saw that was a possibility.
I liked. Now the match is over. There were great spots. Similar to the Fatal 5-Way at Extreme Rules, everybody in this match looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. There wasn't any bad moment for any wrestler. Nobody in this match looked weak.
Yeah, it was.
People say Kevin Owens looked weak because he kept taking damage. I'm like, well, he kept coming back.
I didn't really see that.
I really didn't see. I saw that he got his ass kicked a lot, but I saw that he was basically saying, "Please, sir, I want some more."
Again, plus, just even like the phraseology used just now, taking damage. Like, it's not like this is a video game where you can like quantify it,
mm-hmm.
or like, again, it's how the narrative flows that they create in the ring. That's, again, it's not like we're debating like measuring power levels here. It doesn't work like that.
It was just nobody looked bad in this match.
Yeah, it was fine.
I liked the talking smack segment between Jinder Mahal and Baron Corbin. I didn't like that they pretty much pulled a Carmella with Baron Corbin coming out with during the Luke Harper match, basically teasing that, like I said, he's teasing a cash in. He pretty much pulled a Carmella. I feel like that's something the Baron Corbin character wouldn't do, walking around the ring saying, "Haha, you see, I got this. I could be anywhere. I'm Baron Corbin. I'm tall. I have a weird belly. I don't care about what people say about me."
And what's your
Bye.
name? What's your name again?
Baron Corbin.
Okay, that's officially Baron Corbin's voice in my mind now, forever.
You're welcome.
But bum.
I just feel like he didn't need to go around the ring going basically with a big goofy smile on his face, which he did. He just needed to walk on stage, serious face, holding the briefcase in the air after Jinder had a match with Luke Harper. Because he's a no nonsense dude. What he was just doing with the smile and walking around the ring, that was nonsense. How can you have a no nonsense character doing something nonsensical?
Because bad writing.
But yeah,
that's all I got.
All right. Well, that was Money in the Bank. All in all, what would you give facial hair rating?
I'll honestly give this a 1 out of 5.
Wow, you were actually more harsh on it than I am.
Yeah, again, it comes back to the central theme of there weren't enough satisfying, conclusive finishes for me to be happy with it.
Clean shaven. Wow, good. Wow, damn.
Yeah, again, there were a few good points to it, but this match, or this whole card, really lost most of its points when, again, they didn't provide enough conclusive finishes to leave me satisfied or anyone else satisfied. And ultimately, them not doing anything with probably the biggest talking point coming out of the pay-per-view, with Carmella winning, quote unquote, the women's Money in the Bank. It was the most unsatisfying pay-per-view show I've watched from WWE in quite a long time.
For SmackDown. For the SmackDown brand.
Just in general. Just at least usually WWE event shows or pay-per-views or whatever you want to call them are usually presentable enough to have something for me to enjoy or take away from. This was just fell flat on way too many levels for me to be happy with it. So, yeah, I gotta give it a clean shaven.
Now I'm really looking back on I'm looking at what you said and really man, I am at a toss between 1 and 2. Clean shaven or peach fuzz.
It's a good solid case to be made for each, honestly.
For me, the only two highlights on this one was it was a great Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. The men's Money in the Bank, at least. The women's, when it came to the match, was just okay. And the tag team match, because New Day and Usos, like I said, were on their A game. I was the most intrigued, and I was actually invested with the ending. I didn't like the ending, but I understood the ending.
What will you do?
I guess I'll just give a star for those two matches. So I'll just go peach fuzz.
Just going peach fuzz.
Just a normal peach fuzz. I'm just gonna go with a low peach fuzz because I left once I turned off my TV, once the event was over, it left nothing on me. I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait for SmackDown. The only thing I was really looking forward to when it came to SmackDown was, are they just going to take the briefcase off Carmella? So do I count for the scoreboard? Do I count Carmella as a winner? Do I give Brian the point because he predicted Carmella?
Honestly, technically, she did walk away as.
But she was the
briefcase.
James Ellsworth declared her the winner. Nobody else declared her the winner.
But also considering that no one ever stopped that or countered that in any way, it just seemed like everyone just sort of accepted that as the outcome.
Okay.
And he even declared her the winner at the time when Daniel Bryan reversed the decision. The case was taken away from her. So that even if it was a dusty finish, that she was still considered the winner of that match.
The fact that there was no official announcement,
and the fact that I needed to I had to explain that, says a lot.
It makes me want to actually lower the point more because that whole thing frustrates the hell out of me.
So do it.
I'll go clean shaven.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
To hell with this event. I said it last week. I was so pumped to see this event.
So was I. I think a lot of us were.
Because that go home show was awesome. But god damn that they dropped the ball on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, forget 2. They get both the two matches get a half star.
Womp womp.
What a terrible. Oh my god, it was so bad. And yeah, Brian. If that's the case, Brian won the prediction show.
So at least there's that.
By 1 point.
So there you go. There's your props for Lithuania. You win.
I guess Brian will just be happy to hear that he's now 1 point closer to topping. Well, in this case, me as the leading scholar of the prediction shows.
See, there's always a silver line.
It's now it's like Brian has like 2 points lower than me. You have 1 point. I gotta look at the score again, but I got you by like 1 point, and Brian got me by 1 point. So it's a very close game. It's a very close game when it comes to this prediction show.
Now we're only halfway through the year.
Ugh.
So we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, we want to hear from you. What you think now? I know I'm getting tired. I'm tripping over my words.
We're both tired, man.
So why don't you just drop us a line throughout the usual methods? Leave us a comment to let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you hear. Subscribe if you want to hear more every single week. Of course, you can also follow us on Facebook. Just run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And of course, for the latest in all of our latest commentaries and thoughts and assorted little bits, whatnot, you can also track us down on Twitter. Starting with, of course, our main Twitter account. Look for us at ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads every single week. You can also follow us on our general purpose personal Twitters. You can find Brian at Atomic Beanpole. Fool, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avatarek.
And you can reach me at I'm Robbie Rage. All one word.
God damn you.
Hey, it's becoming a thing now, so whatever. I'm sure they already know. You know who we are. We're the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
Let's look for some sort of payoff here.
At least we don't have a prediction show next week.
There you go.
That's our silver line.